Welcome. Welcome, friends. Welcome, one. Welcome, all, to Get It Right Saturday night with your boy, the FightersRep, aka George. This is our UFC 253 post-fight, along with our boxing post-fight. We're going to be talking about Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. We got to bring up Jan Blachowicz. We got to talk about what the Charlo Brothers did tonight. And first and foremost, it's Get It Right Saturday night, and my goodness did I get it right. I mean, my predictions, you could go back the past few days and see my videos on the predictions, not only for both Charlo fights, but for the Israel Adesanya fights. And I mean, I had to wear the tarbush. I had to wear the fez because it's so disgusting how accurate my predictions are. I mean, it's disturbing. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. I mean, do I start charging people? Do I open up a sports book? You know, do I sell my services online? Do I have a sixth sense or something? Is something going on that I accurately predicted all three fights to a T? What's going on? Do I have some sort of gift? I don't know. We're gonna find all this stuff out soon. But my goodness, I mean, where do we begin? Let's start off with UFC 253, straight out of Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, where I made a prediction on the Israel Adesanya fight against Paulo Costa. I said Paulo Costa is a tough guy. You got to watch out for him. Kelvin Gastelum gave Izzy a hard fight. This guy might be bigger, stronger, more physical. But I got to go with the more technical fighter. I got to go with Israel Adesanya, is exactly what I said in the prediction video. Just too technical. I think he's too much. I picked him to win. I thought he would, eventually pick off Paulo Costa. And he ended up doing it way earlier in the fight than I thought. Finishing Paulo Costa at 3 minutes and 59 seconds into round number 2, and basically confirming that he is the absolute man in the UFC's middleweight division, and potentially after a performance like that, guys, one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in the UFC, shining all the way from Abu Dhabi. Shining on you hoes. Shining on you haters. All the way from Abu Dhabi. Costa, I don't know what he was doing. Listen, Costa had the wrong game plan. He sat on the outside for too long. He played the distance game with the wrong guy, with a kickboxer. He should have smothered him from the outset. That would have been his best option. When I saw the first round what was happening, I said, this fight's going to end soon. Because he's playing this distance game with Adesanya, who, as we all know, is a kickboxer. Listen, if you're an MMA striker and you're going to go in there against a kickboxer, you know what I mean? And you're going to play the distance game against a guy that has a much bigger reach than you and all that kickboxing experience to leverage against you. I mean, it's just a really poor decision. And it was, Israel Adesanya in his element. Just in his element. You allowed him to play the game that he wanted to play, and you got smoked for it. And, it was to be expected. I mean, look, if you think Paulo Costa was going to stay on the outside and beat Israel Adesanya, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think that was a huge, huge mistake. I do want to bring up the fact, and a bunch of you are in here. I appreciate it. Kirky, Ivan, what's up, brother? Marcos is in here. Fight Life Nation. Dr. Joseph H, what's up, brother? You know, I do appreciate, Paulo Costa's gamesmanship, trying to rile Izzy up, but you got to do something with it. You can't just stand there in front of him and yell at him and egg him on and play that distance game with him. The fight was over quick, as was. Now we got to talk about this one, the Jan Blachowicz fight. Blachowicz, however you pronounce it, against Dominic Reyes, also ended in the second round, 4 minutes and 36 seconds into round number 2. Listen, these were two unexpected results. These were two unexpected results in the co-main event and the main event of the fight. Nobody expected these guys to win the way they did. And in fact, Jan Blachowicz had a bigger upset because he was actually the underdog in the fight against Dominic Reyes. We all remembered his very close fight against John Bones Jones. A lot of people actually thought Dominic Reyes won that fight. But, Jan Blachowicz, I believe it's pronounced, he just looked like an absolute tank in there today. I mean, I don't know what it is about the guy's physique or bone structure, but I mean, that's the first thing that I noticed about Jan Blachowicz tonight, you guys. Tonight for sure, I noticed. John Anik, I believe in the broadcast, said this guy's built differently. And this guy is built differently. I mean, it's like nothing Dominic Reyes could do was even bothering him. The guy is just so stout and compact, but yet still he's 6'2" and rangy. I mean, the guy has a very unusual build. Very, very strong and heavy-handed. And I noticed at one point nearing the end of the fight, Reyes' nose was gone, and I said to myself, my goodness, Jan Blachowicz, man, looking like a damn animal in there, bro. He destroyed this guy's nose already. We saw the huge welt he left on the right side of Dominic Reyes from those kicks he was throwing. Massive upset, huge win, big win for Poland. I believe Jan Blachowicz is, 37, 38 years old. That's a huge win, especially at that age, to steamroll. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. He steamrolled Dominic Reyes tonight. And it was so one-sided, and as the fight progressed, continued to look more and more one-sided. It was so one-sided, I said to myself, you don't even do a rematch here. I mean, you don't even do a rematch here. This guy destroyed Dominic Reyes, and it was, I don't know, it was like an adult versus an amateur, and the same thing happened. The same thing happened with Adesanya versus Costa. I mean, look, Marco in here, Fight Life Nation, said it wasn't a memorable card. It wasn't an exciting card. I disagree with that, because even though the fights didn't turn out to be as competitive as we thought they would be, these were two guys fighting the best other guy in their division and just coming through in the clutch, rising to the occasion. When the pressure was on, they got the job done and just completely smoked the opposition. So, and I thought it was awesome. And very happy for Jan Blachowicz, because I said to myself, this guy, is on the wrong side of his 30s. If he doesn't win this fight, he's probably never going to win a title. You know, Dominic Reyes can always come back. I don't know, maybe being coached by his brother was a bad idea for him. But, you know, it just physically, he just looked like he didn't belong in there tonight with Blachowicz, man. Just physically, Blachowicz looked like the Thing from Fantastic Four, man. He just looked like a man made out of rock or cement or something. I mean, the guy was just a problem in there. And I didn't see anybody beating Jan Blachowicz tonight, man. I'd never seen him look like that. I've never seen him look like that. And I don't know what to say about the guy. I mean, is this a one-off? Is he going to continue performing like this? I mean, now with John Jones gone, you know, who beats a guy like that? I don't know, man. I don't know. He looked very, very strong tonight, you guys. Very, very strong. So let me get off that guy. Let me move on to the Charlo Brothers, who, again, I predicted to a T. I mean, it's disgusting. If you guys want to donate to the channel, get your FightersRep shirts below. Maybe the secret's in the shirts. Get your shirt in the link below, your mask, your hoodie, you know, your whatever, in the link below in the description. Donate to the channel. You'll help me continue to build this channel and the only kickboxing promotion that matters and the best fight channel on YouTube. So we predicted the Charlo Brothers correct too, man. I think a lot of the people that went against me in my prediction, you know, I think they probably underestimated the Charlos, or they think with their heart instead of their mind. These are two skilled dudes. They went in there, they put it together. Before I continue on the Charlos, though, let me read some of your comments in here real quick. Kirky Ivan says, "Let's go. I'm disappointed with Costa." Well, it was a disappointing performance for sure from Costa, or a virtuoso performance from Israel Adesanya, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Fight Life Nation, I was not a fan of tonight's UFC card. I'm a diehard fan. I just didn't care. I knew Costa had no chance. That's bullshit. That's the second best guy in the division. If he's got no chance, nobody's got a chance. You know, I don't know where you're coming up with this, Marco. He's the second best guy in the division. If he doesn't have a chance, nobody's got a chance. He was too slow and Izzy too dynamic. Also, Costa is not a wrestler. Reyes is not an elite fighter. Again, second best guy in the division. The fact that he was in a second title fight gave John Jones, one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest to ever do it, one of his closest fights, where a lot of people thought Reyes won the fights. I mean, I'm not sure who you want to put these guys in there with. There's nobody else. Kirky Ivan says, without Adesanya standing in the middle of the ring, come on, Costa. Yeah, man, I don't know what Costa was doing in there, man. He needed to press the action, and he just did it. You know, I just felt like he was probably afraid of the return fire. He was afraid of the counter. He was too afraid of the counter, and he got caught at the end regardless. Fight Life Nation, Inner Row shows how shallow light heavy is. Dr. Yusuf H says, it's making me angry when fighters don't check the leg kick. Costa let Izzy pick him apart. I have no idea why he would let him just sit there and tear his leg apart like that. He landed 20 leg kicks, I think, before we got out of the first round. Hard leg kicks. And that's not the way you're going to win that fight. You're not going to win that fight against Israel Adesanya, letting him wear out your leg like that. You got to push the issue on him. If you've got a lesser reach and you're less skilled in the stand-up, you got to push the issue. Brandon Royval versus Carl France was dynamite. That was a good fight. Dr. Joseph H says, George, do you know why MMA fighters don't check the leg kick? Not all of them, man. Not all of them. Some of them do check the leg kick. Tonight, Costa didn't check the leg kick. I don't know what his strategy was, man. I don't understand his strategy. But I said in my prediction, you know, he's a big, strong guy. He wants to come in and be aggressive. But I felt like Israel Adesanya's technical striking, and he's got enough power on his punches to hurt and put away Costa. And I think he was just afraid of the receipt, whatever he was going to get coming inside on Adesanya. I think he was afraid of what was going to come back. At the end of the day, he should have taken the risk and pressed the issue more. Instead, he sat on the outside and allowed himself to get chewed up and finished. Kirky Ivan, yes, with the wrong gate. Not sure what you mean there. Lastly, Diego Sanchez is a legend, but we do not need to see him fight ever again. It's hard to watch. He was in terrible shape and looked bad against an average fighter. I agree. I don't know why they keep letting Diego Sanchez out there, but I'm not going to tell the guy to retire. I think Dana will probably have a talk with him. Wrong tactic, says Kirk Gavin. I agree 100%. Completely the wrong tactic. Let me see here. Fight Life Nation, shame on Connor for calling him out. My goodness. Dr. Joseph H. says, MMA fighters rarely block the kicking. It's so dumb to me seeing them absorb the free kick one after one another. Claudio Morreal says, what's up? Just getting in. Great night of combat sports. It was crazy, man. It was a great night for sure. My coach would slap me if I absorbed too much unnecessary leg kicks. Well, your coach cares about you, Joseph. Kirky Ivan says, Blachowicz is stone. Dr. Joseph H. says, Jan was strong. Big time, man. That guy is a monster. I think the reason I'm hating on the card is the fact Dana White kept hyping it as fight of the year, and it was clearly ugly style matchup. I just think Paulo Costa employed the wrong strategy. I think he had the potential to make this a fight of the year. He ended up getting schooled because he played the wrong tactic. He went with the wrong strategy, and Israel Adesanya took full advantage of that. Claudio Morreal says, Charlo versus Canelo, make it happen. I agree with that. Chen Forajido, Charlo versus Charlo doesn't make sense. Or Canelo doesn't make sense. It should be Charlo versus Andrade. Canelo now at 168. I think Charlo versus Andrade is a money fight. Mr. Rufus R. Toyota says, my son just got in his first fist fight tonight. I heard he delivered a sweet right cross. Congrats on that. I hope he won the fight, brother. Cal Blundell says, Israel was sensational. He's a star. I couldn't agree more. That guy is an absolute superstar in the making. Claudio Morreal says, I pick style bender. I like the guys who could throw the straight punches compared to the hooks. Listen, appreciate you all being in here. Subscribe, hit the bell notification icon next to it if you haven't joined Knucklehead Nation already. I'm feeling like a fortune teller. I got my fez, aka my tarbosh on, because I'm just feeling it, because I got all my predictions right tonight. So let's move on to the Charlo Brothers. First off, we had Jermall Charlo taking on Sergey Derevyanchenko, a very tough fighter, a guy in Daravianchenko who doesn't give anybody anything for free. If you're fighting him, it's going to be a hard night. And I told everybody, he's a great fighter, Derevyanchenko is. But 34 years old, reach disadvantage, height disadvantage, size disadvantage. Too many disadvantages for me. Too many. Plus, half the fights that Jermall Charlo has had. Plus, he's not the champ. Jermall Charlo is. So if it goes to the decision, you got to beat the champ. And it was just too much. I felt that the main problem Derevyanchenko was going to have in this fight was the reach and the explosive power. That's exactly what I said. And that's exactly what happened. Daravianchenko, being the smaller guy, had to consistently come on the inside. But he was tamed quite a bit by Jermall Charlo landing big shots on him, fighting him from the outside in spurts as well. And Jermall Charlo clearly won. I said it was a good fight. It was a close fight. I said Derevyanchenko would push him. He did. There was some really close rounds there. At one point, he hurt Charlo. But I think Charlo hurt him more in the fight. And I said that if Charlo doesn't get a decision, he's going to take him to the latter half of the fight and stop him late. And that actually almost happened. I believe it was in the 8th round. He hurt Derevyanchenko, and then he hurt him maybe a couple more times as the fight progressed to the end. Couple times there where it looked like he may get him out of there. It didn't happen. Daravianchenko, obviously, a very tough guy. If I can critique Charlo on anything in that fight, it was that he did not go to the body at all until very late in the fight. And I felt like that could have really helped him out in this fight to slow down Derevyanchenko, because, Chenko was the one who's going to have to go on the inside and make angles or create angles and move around more, right? And when you invest in the body, the guys get tired. They can't move around as much. I do think Charlo will probably, watch the fight, say maybe I'll go to the body a bit more next time for a guy like this. But great performance by Jermall Charlo. A lot of people laughed at my prediction. They said he's going to get, exposed. He's a hype job, this and that. Listen, the kid's over 30-0 now. He's undefeated. He just fought Daravianchenko and beat him in a more convincing fashion than anybody's beat him. He did a better job than Triple G did, for sure. Charlo, in my opinion, is probably the man right now in that division. I would love to see him in there against Andrade. That's the only fight left to make. I do think, his power, again, kept Daravianchenko honest. He's got good boxing skills. He knew how to fight from the outside. The only trouble he had was when Daravianchenko came in on the inside, created angles. But even then, he's got a great uppercut. He was able to land that in certain sequences. I think, though, the big takeaway for me, or the only critique for Charlo, is more body punching. I would have employed more body punching in this fight. That being said, he got the win. I thought it was, a pretty clear-cut win. I mean, it was a good competitive fight, but it was a clear-cut win. No questions asked. Jermall Charlo won that fight, and you gotta now give him the credit he deserves. Again, he beat Sergey Derevyanchenko, the technician, the guy who a lot of people feel was robbed in the Gennady Golovkin fight. Although I thought that fight was really close, I thought Jermall Charlo did a better job than Gennady Golovkin did against Derevyanchenko, and he moves forward. So, you guys can say whatever you want about him, but I think he showed his worth tonight. Then we had Jermall Charlo in this goofy second card. I don't know why they did it like that. I would have preferred to just, see them fight back to back and not have to wait 3 hours. But no, Kevin, the phone lines are not open, brother. Just please leave the comments in here, the questions in here. Claudio Monreal says, I don't think Charlo's going to fight Andrade, but if they do, I got Charlo. I think Andrade is not active enough. I agree with that. But, we had Jermall compete also against Jason Rosario, a.k.a. Banana. And I said in this fight that, I felt like this fight was simpler to break down. And I said it in my prediction. Listen, I feel it up here. I said it in my prediction. Jason Rosario's ultimate asset is his physicality, is his power. The problem in fighting Jermall Charlo is he's fighting another very physical, very powerful fighter. So a guy who matches his asset, but raises him technique. And we saw that tonight. He dropped Rosario in the first round, although I felt like that should have been counted as a slip, because even though he landed the shot at the top of the dome and Rosario lost his equilibrium, if you watch, his foot actually went outside the ring, causing him to slip. So I would have counted that as a slip more than a knockdown, because had he not slid and his foot gone out the ring, he wouldn't have fallen. That being said, he got dropped again later on in the fight with a short, clean left hook, okay, which obviously was powered and stemmed from the skills, the disparity in skill between Jermall Charlo and Jason Rosario. He was able to catch him slipping, hit him, countered him with a beautiful left hook and dropped him. And then, to be honest with you guys, I thought the finish was a little fishy. I'm going to go ahead and give all the credit to Jermall Charlo, who got the 8-round TKO, and it happened on a body jab. He went high and then he went low. And when he went low, I guess he hit Rosario in a soft spot or something, dropped him. It didn't look like that hard of a punch. We had a punch from Josh Taylor tonight, who was also defending his junior welterweight title, where he fought a guy and hit him with a beautifully placed short left hook to the liver. And, you could hardly see it, but you can tell from the way it landed and where it landed, right on the liver, that the way his opponent reacted was, fitting to the punch that landed. A left hook to the liver is a killer punch that will end your night. So that's just something to compare the Jermall Charlo body shot to in the Jason Rosario fight. And it looked, listen guys, it looked a little fishy to me. I'm not going to say that Rosario took a dive, but if people do believe that Rosario took a dive, I won't question it. Maybe he gave up. Maybe he took a shot down there. He got a little hurt and he gave up and he said, this fight's going nowhere. This guy's beating me up. I'm just going to bail out right here and act like I'm hurt. I don't know. He put on, what looked to be a bit of a goofy show as he was on the floor. He's acting like he couldn't breathe or something. I thought he was seizing up. And then when you look at the replay, it was a jab to the stomach. I mean, listen. Again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but that shit just looked fishy. But that being said, whether he dove, whether he was really hurt, whether he just wanted to get out the fight, he lost that fight. I was right on the fight. Jermall Charlo, superior boxer, just as strong. Actually dropped Jason Rosario. Rosario couldn't do the same to him. So potentially stronger, better chin, and got the job done. Got the job done. And that's pretty much it, knuckleheads. That's pretty much it. Great night of fights. Great night of fights. Mad Dog H, why would a champion take a dive in a fight when he can hold 3 of the top belts in the division? I can give you, and again, I'm not saying he did it, but I'm saying if somebody says he did, or we found out that he did, I wouldn't be surprised. I can give you I can literally give you a couple thousand reasons why a champion would make a dive. I can give you a million. I can literally sit here and write up a million reasons why somebody would take a dive. And a lot of them have to do with money. A lot of them have to do with potentially you feel like you're going to lose the fight. You're looking for a way out. Listen, it happened with Rigondeaux when he fought Lomachenko. He sat on the stool. He didn't get back up. He said, I don't want a part of this anymore. We've seen Lomachenko make several people quit. Nicholas Walters, he made him quit. Maybe this was a quit job. Maybe he wanted, he just wanted to take a dive because he just wanted to get out of there and get the money. I don't know. But that looked horrible. You can't tell me that a boxer who's taking body shots like that all day long in sparring and everything else, that reaction wasn't a little bit odd. I don't know. We listen. You got your opinion, I got mine. You're on my channel. You can like or dislike my opinion. I don't give a shit. But I'm just telling you the way it is. The guy, the reaction for me didn't fit the punch. That being said, I respect anybody that gets into that ring. It's a tough business. Jermall Charlo earned the win regardless. I don't think there was any way this guy was going to beat him. So anyway, Claudio Monreal says, I didn't see the Rosario versus Charlo fight, but I picked Charlo. Didn't have faith in Rosario. I agree with that, brother. Mad Dog H says, of course there is a reason, but I'll give full credit to Charlo. I'm giving 100% credit to Charlo. And you look, even now you're saying, but it did look sus. It did look suspect, man. It looked suspicious. It looked suspect. It looked suspicious. And that's all I'm saying. Maybe he's got something going on. Maybe he has some kind of medical condition we don't know about. I don't know. But when he hit the floor from a jab to the stomach and acted like he was seizing or coughing something up, I mean, I was like, is this guy dying in the ring? I mean, why? I was literally worried for the guy. And then eventually he stands back up. I don't know. Maybe he got all the air knocked out of him. I don't know what happened. I've never seen that. I've never seen someone react like that. Claudio Monreal says the 160 Charlo looked good, really tough tonight. I think he could give the guys at 168 problems. He did look good, and he seems like a really focused guy. He seems like a likable guy too. I like the guy, man. I like Charlo, Jermall Charlo. I don't mind Jermall, but I like Jermall's attitude a bit more. He seems more laid back. Jermall's a little too intense for me, but he put on a great performance as well tonight, and all credit to him. I just prefer Jermall. I don't know which one's the better fighter. They're both good. They're both great, actually. They're both great. They're both, it's crazy. Two twins are basically the best in their division, if not one of the best in their division. I think these kids, have the right to say that they're the best in their division now. I think everybody that was calling them hype jobs needs to now sit down and eat crow and give these kids the credit they deserve. These kids are the best or one of the best, guys in their respective divisions. And that's pretty much it. Knuckleheads, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it if you haven't already. Join Knucklehead Nation. We put out daily content about the fight game. And obviously by joining us, donating, getting your FightersRep gear in the link below, you're going to be helping us build not only this channel, but the only kickboxing promotion that matters. Let me see here. Diero TV, appreciate you coming on here, brother. He says, if Robert Whittaker wins versus Jared Cannoneer, what's next for Israel and Whittaker? I guess they run it back. I mean, Listen, let's pull up the UFC's middleweight rankings, right? Let's have this discussion because you people are driving me a little bit crazy today. Marco, you're driving me crazy, brother. I love you. I love you. I got love for you, but you're driving me a little bit crazy. But let's see who's in there, right? So, Adesanya, if Whittaker beats Cannoneer, you got to run Whittaker back with Adesanya because you can't run Costa back after tonight. That was embarrassing. And you can't run Yoel Romero back because that was a horrible fight that nobody wants to see. And you wouldn't be able to run Cannoneer back, who's ranked 5th. I'm going here by order, by the way. So I mentioned Whittaker. Costa can't happen. Romero can't happen. If Cannoneer, who's in 5th place on the rankings, ranked 5th, loses to Whittaker, that can't happen. Then you've got Jack Hermanson. So you either would give it to Whittaker or Hermanson, right? You can't give it to Darren Till because he just lost to Whittaker. Although that would be a fun fight, but you can't really do that. You can't do Derek Brunson, who's number 9. You've got Kelvin Gastelum, who's number 8, right? You've got Kelvin Gastelum, who's number 8, which would be a fun fight considering what happened between him and Israel Adesanya. But he's lost 3 fights in a row. And he just got submitted against Hermanson. He lost the decision to Till, and before that, he lost to Adesanya. You have Weidman coming off of a win. You've got Derek Brunson, who won 3 in a row, but he got schooled by Adesanya. I don't think you could do Weidman. Uriah Hall. Listen, I do Hermanson. I do Hermanson because he's a tough guy on the ground. If Whittaker wins, you got to give it to Whittaker or maybe Hermanson. What can you do? What can you do? Peace out, Joseph. Thank you for joining, brother. Let me see here. I see Darren Till getting that title shot. But he just lost. He's coming off a loss to Robert Whittaker. You can't give it to him. You can't give it to him, Neil. You cannot give it to him. If Robert Whittaker wins, let me see. Mad Dog H says, does Mel Charlo enter the top 10 pound for pound? I think you got to consider both of them, man. Not just Jermall. I think you got to consider Jermall too, man. I think you got to consider these guys now. You know, they proved themselves tonight, man. They proved themselves, and they got, you know, Jermall got a dominant win. Jermall got a clear-cut win. It wasn't super dominant, but it was clear, man. Listen, nobody watched that Jermall fight versus Daravianchenko and said Daravianchenko won that fight. That didn't happen. A lot of people watched Daravianchenko. Thank you for joining Knucklehead Nation, Diero. Appreciate you, brother. A lot of people watched Triple G versus Derevyanchenko and had Derevyanchenko winning. That didn't happen tonight. Derevyanchenko didn't win tonight. Unless you are super biased or you don't know what you're looking at, Jermall Charlo won against, again, Derevyanchenko, one of the toughest guys in the division, period. A guy nobody wants to fight, really. So, yeah, man, I mean, these guys have to enter. These guys have to enter the top 10 pound for pound conversation. I mean, unless you dislike them. And listen, I'm not that guy, you know. You'll get that in other channels, right? You won't get that on this channel. You won't get that on this channel because even if I did dislike somebody, which I don't because I'm not an emotional fanboy like that, I just love boxing. Even if I did dislike somebody, I would still give them the credit that they deserve. But I like the Charlos. I especially like Jermall Charlo. And I thought they both had a virtuoso performance tonight. Virtuoso is the word of the day. Both of them put on a virtuoso performance. The reason that Jermall will get more kudos, potentially, is because he got the knockout. But if we're being honest with ourselves, Daravianchenko is a tougher fight than Jason Rosario. Daravianchenko all day long is a tougher fight than Jason Rosario. You look at Daravianchenko, you see a technical fighter. That guy's a problem. A guy with a chin. He's technical. He doesn't get tired. And he hits hard enough to keep you honest. Rosario is a one-dimensional, more of a one-dimensional guy. He can counter a little bit, but he's got power. He's got power. That's pretty much all he's got. The skills are a little bit subpar. A little bit subpar. And all credit to him. I mean, I thought, you know, he did a fantastic job against Julian J-Rock Williams, but I said it in my prediction. J-Rock is not Charlo. J-Rock's not on the level either. Listen, I love J-Rock. I love watching that guy fight. I love watching Jason Rosario fight. I never take credit away from these fighters. I got all the respect in the world for them. But when I'm giving my opinion on a fighter and we're talking levels, I'm going to give you the 2020 I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the objective truth, or my version of the objective truth. And there are levels to this thing. And these Charlo kids are just a level up. They're just a level up from these guys, you know. Let me see here. Is there any fights next week? We'll look it up now. Cal Blundell says Izzy was amazing. People accusing him of steroids so silly because of his nipple. He had a strain against Brunson, the exact same. I don't get what was up with his nipple, man. That was weird. Maybe you could fill me in on that. By the way, hit the like button if you haven't already, to subscribe, the bell notification icon. Donate to the channel. Show some love. If not, get your FightersRep gear, man. Get a shirt, masks, hoodies, whatever. The shirts, I think, are only like $20. You know, you'll be investing in the best kickboxing promotion in the world. I promise you. Let me see here. Peace out, y'all. Keep it up, George. Thank you, Dr. Joseph. Appreciate you, my man. Cal Blundell, winner of Hermanson Till. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one you make. That's the one you make. But if Whittaker wins, man, if Whittaker wins, I mean, do you throw him right back in there? That's a decision the UFC is going to have to make. Diero TV says the thing with the rematch versus Israel and Whittaker, the performance in the first match was dominant. That's true. So does Whittaker deserve a rematch, even though the last match was not close? It wasn't close. It wasn't close. And maybe he doesn't deserve it. Maybe he doesn't deserve it. Maybe that's why you do Hermanson if he wins. Or the winner of Till versus Hermanson. Because these are guys who haven't fought Adesanya. And perhaps one of these guys has the style. I would imagine the Hermanson fight would be difficult for Adesanya because Hermanson's so good on the ground. The Till fight would be good. A tough fight for Adesanya as well because he's so good on the feet. You know, maybe they would almost cancel each other out. That would be a fun fight. Also, Till is a big, strong guy, and he's good on the feet. I'm not sure if he'll be aggressive enough. You know, I think if he's very aggressive, he's got a shot. I don't know if he plays the long distance game like we saw Costa do tonight. If he'll have success there. Mad Dog H says, I had Chenko over Triple G. There you go. There you go. Neil the Security says, UFC is weird. They don't care about rankings, and Till versus Adesanya is really interesting. It is. It's also very interesting. Very interesting. Let me see here. Neil the Security says, I disagree. Darren Till's coming off of a loss. Also, Till nullified Kelvin while Adesanya had problems with him. Yeah, man. Styles make fights, you know. Claudio Monreal says Derevyanchenko is a much harder fight than Rosario all day long. All day long. Mad Dog 8 says, just sub. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Listen, you guys are going to get all these predictions, all this content, the best fight channel on YouTube, free fights, interviews in the fight game. I don't know if you guys saw it. We had Teofimo Lopez's dad yesterday. I posted that interview. I got the long distance on Skype interview with him through my boy Murad, who's actually Teofimo's physical therapist. Is my boy Murad from South Florida back when I was out there. Murad was actually a Sancho fighter out of Dagestan. Very good fighter. Won a silver medal and a gold medal in Russia and Dagestan and stuff. Very good fighter. He put me in contact with Teofimo Lopez Sr., and I had the interview with him. So, you know, free fights, best rule set in fighting, if you ask me. And I promise you, as we continue to grow, I will continue to prove that to you. Interviews, documentaries, highlights, and daily content dropping, including, you know, our take on different topics happening in combat sports, predictions. This is all, you know, and this for everybody. We love everyone. We don't discriminate. I'm not, pro one fighter or another fighter. I'm not pro one ethnicity or another. I'm not pro one promoter or another. I don't care. I just love the fight game. This channel is for adults. It's for the boys and the girls too. People that love the fight game, that want to come in here and talk about the fight game. Maybe you guys have some opinions on, what we should do for kickboxing, FightersRep Promotions kickboxing events coming up. Always love to hear your suggestions. Also for interviews, whatever, we can reach out to anybody, I've had Regis Prograis on here. We had Manny Robles on here several times. I've interviewed Big John McCarthy. I mean, you name it. We just had Teofimo Lopez's dad. So always something going on the channel related to the fight game. Neil the Security says, I noticed that too. It was kind of strange. Claudio Morreal says, do you still think Triple G is a threat, George? I think he's done. Claudio, you know what? I think he's good enough at this point to be a contender. I think he's a little bit. I think he's done. I think he's done. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can capture a title. Maybe, but he's definitely not. I mean, I don't know. I would love to see him fight Charlo. Just to be sure. But I felt like in the second Canelo fight, we saw the decline. And in the Derevyanchenko fight, we saw more decline. You know what I mean? And as much as I love Triple G and respect Triple G, I mean, he's almost 40 years old, and he's not aging the way a Jan Blachowicz aged. He's aging the way typically the smaller weight class guys age. They lose a little bit of reflex. They lose a little bit of speed. They lose, their footwork a little bit. Their reflexes are not the same. And the career starts to erode. Mad Dog H says, Triple G won't beat the top guys. In my opinion, he lost to Chenko. There you go. And, I kind of echo Mad Dog's sentiments on that one. Neil the Security says, I'm patiently waiting for my boy Gate G to snatch that belt from Habib. Oh, my goodness. That's the fight. That's the fight the world's talking about in MMA. That's the biggest fight. And I think right now the Teofimo Lopez-Lomachenko fight is the big boxing fight between now and the end of the year. And that's going down in a couple weeks. October 17th, I believe it is. Neil the Security says that kind of strange comment was in reference to Adesanya's right breast today. Yeah, man, that was weird. I said I was watching with my sister-in-law, and I said, I looked at them as they entered the cage, and I said, I picked Adesanya to win, but with his titty sagging like that, I'm starting to think, and with the way Costa was looking like a freaking Greek statue, right? I told her, man, I'm starting to think I may have picked wrong tonight. He looked weird. I don't know what was up with that, man. George Estrada, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being in here, brother. Diero TV says, if Glover Teixeira wins versus Thiago Santos, does Glover get the next title shots versus Blachowicz, or do you make Rakic versus Blachowicz? Oh, man. Diero posing the good questions. Let's take a look at the UFC's light heavyweight rankings and come to a consensus on this one. Let's see here. So you're saying if Teixeira beats Santos. then yeah, you got to give it to Teixeira. You got to give it to Teixeira, I think. I think Rakic needs to do a bit more. I think he still has to, I think he still has to pay his dues a bit. Because he decisioned Anthony Smith, but, I'm not super impressed on Anthony Smith right now. So yeah, I think you got to give Teixeira the shot, develop Rakic a little more, and then, if he keeps rising up, give him a shot. Yeah, light heavyweight gets interesting without Jones. Big time. Big time. Jan Blachowicz, man. Jan Blachowicz, you guys. Damn. I don't know what happened there. I don't know where he came from. I mean, he's always been good. He's always been good. But to put on a performance like that, the way he did tonight, I don't know, man. I'm blown away. What did you guys think of Jan Blachowicz' performance tonight? I want to hear your opinions in the comments if you're watching this later on or right now in the live chat. I want to hear what you think of Blachowicz's performance tonight, because I thought that the dude just looked incredible and he looked like he was made of fucking rocks, dude. The guy's a tank. The guy's a tank. He looked like you had to shoot him tonight to beat him. Claudio Morel says, not a Charlo fan, but a lot of people hate on both of them when in reality they're good fighters. They are good fighters. They are good fighters. I think the reason people hate on them is because, not really Jermall. For me, Jermall seems like a nice guy, but I feel like Jermall comes off as a bit like awkward. I think he's very awkward, and he comes off as a bit like dumb, and I think that's a turnoff for people. But I think Jermall, I think Jermall is definitely a cool guy, and so is Jermall. I mean, he's not a bad guy. I like Jermall's personality a bit better. He seems like, he can speak a bit better, and he's like a laid back dude. And Jermall just seems really intense. But no reason to hate on the guys, man. They're great fighters and they won. So I don't know what people want from these kids. Yo, they disrespected Joanna by saying Poland got their first big champion today. Damn. Jose Estrada says, who wins on October 30th? Munguia versus Johnson. I got Munguia. I think I got Munguia. I'm going to have to predict that and really look into it. But right now, off the top of my head, I got to go with Munguia. I got to go with Munguia right now. Let me see here. Ranked 9, Brendan Royval just beat Kai Kara France, ranked 7 in impressive fashion, even after getting rocked early on. And come back with a spinning back elbow. What's next for Royval? You know what? I have no idea, brother. Let me see. Let's see what's going on in that division. Let's see what's going on in that division. Let's do some research. So UFC Flyweight Rankings. Let's see. UFC Flyweight Rankings. I don't think these are the official ones. Alright, we're pulling it up on the UFC page. Flyweight. Let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of people there. There's Formiga, Pantoja, Alex Perez, Askar Askarov, Brendan Moreno, Joseph Benavidez, and then the champ, Davison Figueiredo. So there's a bunch of people for Royval to fight next. Maybe Formiga, number 6. Maybe that's next for him. What's good, bro? Great channel, says 480 Valley Boy 602. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry you're joining so late, man. You guys, it's actually, almost an hour I've been on here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am fucking wasted right now. I'm tired. A long day for me. But a great night of fights. Appreciate you guys coming on. Like I said, we'll be having daily content. And we go live every Saturday. Immediately after the big fights. I look forward to talking with you guys again soon, man. You guys are awesome. But I'm tired. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love to you guys. Join Knucklehead Nation if you haven't.